Nama. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi. I'm sorry, Paschatya Deshata. Sorry, are you able to see the screen all right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16. Does anyone remember what we read yesterday?
Hare Krishna. What we read yesterday was that Lord Anantashesh continues to instruct Citraketu Maharaj. He was giving the instructions, and then he said that how he speak about the deity and the holy name, how they are non-different, they are identical. It is he himself. And then he also said that why Citraketu Maharaj was able to see, because he heard the transcendental knowledge from Angira Muni and Narad Muni, and then he got liberated, and then he saw Lord Anantashesh. So devotional service begins with faith, Shraddha. And then you mentioned the different stages of devotional service, that is, it begins with faith, then it goes to Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti, and then Nishta, and then comes Bhav, and then Prem. So Prem is the ultimate goal. It's the Prem Pumar Puntho Mahan. And when one is in Prem, then he can see Krishna everywhere, Satata. Tastesham Satata Yuktanam. So like he can see Krishna for 27, 420, 24/7. He can see always Krishna, he can remember Krishna. And then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that his devotees are engaged in his service 24 hours. And when they engage in some activity and get pleasure, and if we get engaged in some activity and when we get pleasure, we want to do it more and more and again and again. And so Krishna's service is joyfully expressed, and Krishna gives the intelligence so that we can go back to him, and our eagerness and his mercy are the two important things that make that happen. And then Prabhupada says that Lord Ananta is giving more knowledge to Citraketu Maharaj. And reality is in the spiritual world and in illusion in the material world. And though material world is very much real, but it is temporary. Someone might say that it is temporary. No, it is very much real, but it is just temporary. It is not, it's not going to be there for always. So you also mentioned about the three features of the absolute truth. They were like the truth and the one that is illusion. So the truth is that he's present in the three features. Absolute truth is present in three features: Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. And then the illusion form is that you said that the soul, because it is in this body and is active and is thinking that he is the body and engage in two types of activities, that is the karma and the vikarma. And then karma and vikarma, they both are illusionary, as this will keep us in this world, and they are called akarya. And then Prabhupada also quotes that Krishna says that we understand karma. What is karma? What is vikarma? What is akarma? And then sarva bhutani, that everything is Krishna's energy. And once we are same in quantity, and we are same in the quantity, but difference in the, we are same in the quality, but different in the quantity. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. And then Krishna says that clearly that he is the creator of all the material 8 elements that exist: Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash, Man, Buddhi, Mithya, Ahang. And Krishna says that we are only using it every day. As a human beings, as the Baddha Jeeves, we are using it. We are his superior energy. And we are trying to enjoy this material energy. And so we are suffering. Example, if we take out a fish, you mentioned the example that if we take out a fish from the water, then it will suffer. So we are spiritual souls and should be in the spiritual world. And then material elements and spiritual souls are all belong to Krishna. They both are his energy. And therefore he says that aham sarva bhutani, because it is Krishna's energy and he's everywhere. And then you also mentioned that we can see that here that Paramatma gives us the intelligence according to our desires. And so if we want to go to spiritual world, we go there, and if we want to stay here and enjoy, he does that. And so the sanction is given by the Lord, and it is based on our desires. We get the knowledge and intelligence and remembrance and forgetfulness, and then he sanctions, and we get his mercy to do the work. And then you also mentioned that avidya is also maya, and then the we should be able to understand vidya and avidya. And it is also written in, first we should become devotee, and then we should try to understand vidya and avidya. And then this is also mentioned in Sri Ishano Upanishad that when a person is in vidya form, then he understands like Lord very nicely. He can understand the different forms of the Lord very nicely. And then Vedic Gyan is considered the breath of Krishna, सांस. वो कृष्णा की सांस समझा जाता है उनको कि जो कृष्णा सांस ले रहे हैं. And from Vedic knowledge only begins everything, because all the universes come into existence when Krishna's by breath only. So it is Sarva Vedeshu, Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu. That's what. And he is considered the Om. Om Shabd is considered, he's considered the Om is like, it begins from Om, everything begins from Om, and then even Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So they also mention that Krishna's name and his sound, they are same, it's non-different. There's no difference in Krishna and Krishna's name. And then we went on to the next one, and then there you mentioned that Matsani Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Teshvastitaha, that all the jivas are situated in Krishna. The Mayavadis say that, they distinguish Krishna and like guna, that, Krishna is, then this thing is also Krishna. Everything is Krishna. Then even the tree is Krishna. No, but we cannot pray to tree. That is not the point. That is wrong. And then he is there in everything, but everything is not him. There is energy. So like प्रत्येक वस्तु उन्हीं पर आश्रित है, और प्रत्येक वस्तु उनकी शक्ति का विस्तार मात्र है. किंतु इसका अर्थ यह नहीं है कि वह सारी वस्तुएं उन्हीं के समान पूजनीय है. So we need to understand this. And all the material things are very temporary, but Krishna is permanent. He's absolute truth. And then we are the part and parcel of his energy. And so we just need to understand this. And then this is like the knowledge was given by Ananta Shesh. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, thank you so much. It's just Krishna says that the Omkar and Hare Krishna both are him, non-different. Omkar is the sound representation of Krishna. The Vedic mantras begin with Om. So when we are saying Om, we are referring to Krishna. Hare Krishna is also Krishna. Same. Yeah. So thank you. And going on to 53, 54. Yatha Shushupta Purusho.
Hare Krishna, we finished, right? 53, 54.
No, I was just going to, okay, because in my book it is the whole. Yeah, okay. Yatha susupto purusho.
Sushupta Purusho
Vishvam Pashyati Chatmani.
Vishyam
Vishwam
pashyati
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 chatmani.
chatmani.
Tatmani
Atmanam Ekadeshastham.
Atmanam
Atmanam
ekadeshastam.
ekadeshastam.
Manyate Swapna Uthitaha.
Manyate
Yate
swapna
swapna uttitaha.
Evam Jagar Nadini.
evam jagran adini.
Jagaranadina
Jivasthanani Chatmanaha.
Jivasthanani
Jivasthanani
chatmanaha.
Jatma
Maya Matrani Vigyaya.
Maya
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 matrani
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 vidyaya.
Vidyaya.
Tat Drashtaram Param Smare.
Tadrishtaram
Drishtaram
Drishtaram param
Parameswaret.
samsmrere.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When a person is in deep sleep, he dreams and sees in himself many other objects, such as great mountains and rivers, or perhaps even the entire universe, although they are far away. Sometimes, when one awakens from a dream, he sees that he is in a human form, lying in his bed in one place. Then he sees himself in terms of various conditions as belonging to a particular nationality, family, and so on. I'm sorry. All the conditions of deep sleep, dreaming, and wakefulness are but energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should always remember the original creator of these conditions, the Supreme Lord, who is unaffected by them. So none of these conditions of the living entities, namely deep sleep, dreaming, and wakefulness, is substantial. They are simply displays of various phases of conditional life. There may be many mountains, rivers, trees, beasts, tigers, and snakes that are situated far away, but in a dream one may imagine them to be nearby. Similarly, as one has subtle dreams at night, when the living entity is awake, he lives in gross dreams of nation, community, society, possessions, skyscrapers, bank balance, position, and honor. So, what here Lord Anantashesh is saying, in the night we have our night dreams, right? Isn't it? We all have experience. We'll have some kind of a dream that suddenly we are in a faraway place, or maybe, that we may get a nightmare that a tiger is coming to attack us. But when we get up, oh, the situation is completely different. There's no tiger. We are safely in our bed. And then we don't think much about it. We just let it go. It was just a dream. So many dreams we don't even remember. So that is the night dream. Similarly, what is our daydream? Is we are thinking we are the body and that we are belonging to a particular nationality. I am this, I belong to this country, I belong to this community, this society, our material designations depending on the body. But that's called a daydream. Why? Why is it being called a daydream? We work so much for it. Our whole life and energy goes into this. Then why is it being called a dream?
because it's temporary, it's not true.
Yeah, not temporary. I'm sorry, because it's temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah. And what is it that's not true? I mean,
That
surely
we are this body.
yeah,
We think that we are this body, but we are the soul.
that's right. Yeah. Okay. So then, under the circumstances, one should know that his position is due to his contact with the material world. One is situated in different positions in various forms of life that are all but creations of the illusory energy, which works under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this Maya Devi, under whose authority is she acting?
Under Krishna's authority.
Yes. Do you remember any verse to substantiate that?
Devahi esi gulmaya mammaya drattayaha. Is it the one?
Yes, that's right. Thank you. So, therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate actor, and the conditioned living entity should simply remember this original actor, Sri Krishna. So, why the Lord is being called the actor? Because actually everything is being done under His will. Everything is, but we are acting. We can't say, oh, responsibility is not ours. We are choosing, we have a choice. And what's the choice? We choose Krishna or we choose Maya. That's our choice. And then Krishna makes the arrangement. But what Prabhupada is saying, simply we should remember Krishna, that everything is happening under Krishna's will. Under his plan, everything is happening. As living entities, we are being carried away by the waves of Prakriti or nature, which works under the Lord's direction. Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. Isn't it? As time goes by, we get so involved in our lives. Our full energy, full being goes in that. We forget that Krishna is behind this. Prabhupada is saying we need to remember that Krishna is behind all this. Well, we can't blame Krishna for our choices and our reactions, but understanding that everything is happening under his supervision. This material world belongs to Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings Miche Maya Ravashe Yacha Beshe Kacha Hab Buddhu Bhai. Why are you being carried away by the waves of the illusory energy in various phases of dreaming and wakefulness? These are all creations of Maya. Our only duty is to remember the supreme director of this illusory energy, Krishna. So, here Bhakti Prabhupada is quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, why you're getting so engrossed? We get so attached to our material position that something changes in our life. We are we may be completely devastated. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, and why you're being so, so engrossed, so attached. All this is going to pass. Everything is going to pass. Why? Because it's all illusory. Maya is giving us these different situations. As the dreams keep coming, going, coming, going. Similarly, in our life also, when we are awake, we are going to see different situations. And what is our only duty?
Remember Krishna.
Yes. That's what it's the foundation of all religious principles. Two principles are there. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Based on this principle, all the other rules and regulations are made. Now, how can we remember Krishna? Prabhupada is saying, for us to do this, the Shastra advises us, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam. One should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the process we have been given in this age of Kali for us to remember Krishna. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra constantly. It's being said constantly. We say, okay, I have to chant 16 rounds, finish. But here, Prabhupada is mentioning constantly one should chant the holy name of the Lord. The Supreme Lord is realized in three different phases as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. But Bhagwan is the ultimate realization. So constantly chant. So one may say, but I have so many other duties to perform. How will I do that if I'm just going to chant the whole day? Then Krishna says, whatever you do it for me. He says in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you give away, whatever you eat, you do it for me. Do your duty while remembering me, he says to Arjuna. So how will we be able to remember Krishna while we are doing our duty? Then we have to chant. We have to hear. And hear and chant. How much ever
Hare
we...
Krishna, Shilpa ji, I think your voice is,
Yeah.
it's not proper. It's we are losing.
Oh, really? My connection not good? Haribo?
Oh, the internet, that means.
Yeah. Haribo, are you able
Yeah,
to hear?
we are able to hear you now, but we were not able to hear you for a long time in between.
Oh my God, really? Yeah,
Yeah, after.
I just checked my internet connection is showing unstable. Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry about that.
no problem. We are sorry,
So,
we should have informed you earlier. I'm sorry.
so here Prabhupada is saying one should chant constantly the holy name. So then we were saying that, Okay, but then one may say, I have so many things to do. How will I chant constantly? Then, as Krishna says, that do your duty, remembering me as the Supreme Lord. He's telling to Arjuna that in Bhagavad Gita. So, how will we be able to do that? So, we chant our rounds, we chant Hare Krishna, we hear from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we worship the deity. Prabhupada put a full program, morning program. And in that consciousness, throughout the day, we do our duty for the pleasure of Krishna. So then, Prabhupada here is mentioning Supreme Lord is realized in three different phases, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. But Bhagwan is the ultimate realization. So, Brahman, where's the Brahman coming from?
From Krishna's effulgence.
Yes, Brahman is Krishna's effulgence. That's right, which is coming from his body. And Paramatma?
Paramatma is also coming from Krishna. He is there situated in all of us as Paramatma.
Yeah, Krishna expands as Paramatma. And he's there in our hearts as Paramatma. He's into every atom of the universe as Paramatma. And who's Bhagwan?
Krishna himself.
Yes, that's right. So one who realizes Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, is the most perfect Mahatma. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So Krishna is saying one who can understand him as the Supreme Lord. Such a great soul is very rare. First, he's a great soul. He's a Mahatma. And such a person is very rare. In the human form of life, one should understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For then one will understand everything else. Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Evam Vigyatam Bhavati. Mundaka Upanishad 1.3. According to this Vedic injunction, simply by understanding Krishna, one understands Brahman, Paramatma, Prakriti, the illusory energy, the spiritual energy, and everything else. Everything will be revealed. So, Mundaka Upanishad is saying, we want to know, we have this desire to know things. That's why there's so many different fields of knowledge, more and more. AI, technology, lawyer, medicine, uh, uh, arts, so many. But if we want to understand God, we want to understand Paramatma, we want to understand Prakriti, we want to understand Brahman, we want to understand about ourselves, then we simply have to understand Krishna. Just like the sun, when the sun comes up, we can see everything clearly. We can see ourselves, we can see everything around us very clearly. When the sun is not there in the night, it's so dark, can't see anything. Well, in the cities, maybe we don't even experience that complete darkness because there's lights coming from everywhere. But if you go to a place which is like really completely dark, can't see anything around. But as soon as the sun comes up, everything becomes clear. So by understanding Krishna, everything becomes clear. Krishna haya Surya Saman Maya haya Andhakar. Jaha Krishna taha nahi Maya ra adhikar. Krishna is like the sun, Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there is no Maya. So Prakriti, the material nature, is working under the direction of the Supreme Lord, and we living entities are being carried away by various phases of Prakriti. For self-realization, one should always remember Krishna. As stated in Padma Puran, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu. We should always remember Lord Vishnu. Vismartavyo na jatuchit. We should never forget the Lord. This is the perfection of life. So in this verse, what we are trying to understand, so many things are going to come across us. We are going to come across so many things, dreams at night, and then our dreamlike state during the day. But what's important is to always remember Krishna. And how to always remember Krishna? all chanting constantly Hare Krishna mantra. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So then going on. Yena prasupta purusha
Prashupta Purusha
swapam vedatmanastada
Swapam
Vedatmanastata
sukham cha nirgunam brahma
Sukhamscha
Sukham cha
nirgunam
Nirgunam
brahma
Brahma
tam atmanam avehimam.
tam atman
Atmanam
vedimam.
Know me to be the supreme Brahman, the all-pervading super soul, through whom the sleeping living entity can understand his dreaming condition and his happiness beyond the activities of the material senses. That is to say, I am the cause of the activities of the sleeping living being. When the living entity becomes free from false ego, he understands his superior position as a spirit soul, part and parcel of the pleasure potency of the Lord. Thus, due to Brahman, even while sleeping, the living entity can enjoy. The Lord says that Brahman, that Paramatma, and that Bhagwan are I myself. This is noted by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha. So Krishna is saying, Brahman, where is the Brahman coming from? Is me. I'm the Brahman. I'm the Paramatma. Why it's coming from him, no? Sun and sunshine. He's expanded as Paramatma. And then uh, he's saying that uh, through whom the sleeping living entity can understand his dreaming condition and his happiness beyond the activities of the material senses. And Krishna, depending on our desire, what's our desire? We want to remain in the material world or we want to remain and go to the spiritual world? What we are choosing. Krishna is facilitating that. He's fulfilling our desire based on our desire, where we want to be. Yeah. So what is our real ego? What is our real ego? Well, let's see, what's our false ego?
I am this body is our soul's ego.
I'm the body. And what is the real ego?
I am
Yeah,
the
spirit souls.
I'm the eternal servitor of Krishna.
Yeah, spirit
Who
soul,
art in-
eternal servant of Krishna. That's right. Thank you. I think my connection is not yet good, no? Because I could.
It is okay now. We can hear you much better. Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Ubhayam smarata pumsa
Ubhayam smaratah
Maratah
pumsah
Punsah
prasvapa pratibodayo
prasvapa
Prasvapa
Papa
Pratibodhayo
Pratibodhayo
anveti vyatiricyeta
Anveti
Anvyatiricheta
Vyatiricheta
tajnanam brahma tatparam.
Tadjnanam
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 Brahma
Brahma
Tatparam.
Tatparam.
If one dreams during sleep, are merely subject matters witnessed by the supersoul. How can the living entity, who is different from the supersoul, remember the activities of dreams? The experiences of one person cannot be understood by another. Therefore, the knower of the facts, the living entity, who inquires into the incidents manifested in dreams and wakefulness, is different from the circumstantial activities. That knowing factor is Brahman. In other words, the quality of knowing belongs to the living entities and to the Supreme Soul. Thus, the living entity can also experience the activities of dreams and wakefulness. In both stages, the knower is unchanged, but is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman. Okay, in knowledge, the living entity is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman, but the quantity of Supreme Brahman is not the same as that of the living entity, who is part of Brahman. Because the living entity is Brahman in quality, He can remember the past activities of dreams and also know the present activities of wakefulness. So here Anantashesh is saying we are part and parcel. Because we are part and parcel, we are same in quality. We are also Satchidananda. Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge, but minute. Our quantity is minute. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. We are minute. And because we have this minute quality of the Supreme Lord, so we can also remember. And Krishna says actually this remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness, all is coming from Him. He's giving us. He's the Paramatma in the in the heart. And from Him is coming remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So we are able to remember, we are able to forget, because we also are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So His qualities, we have His qualities. Is that okay?
Yeah, so beautiful. Like, this is really lovely. Like, in a simple way, explain to always remember. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yad etat vismritam pumso
Yat etat
Yat
vitam
vismritam pumsa
madbhavam bhinnam atmanaha
madbhavam
madbhavam
pinnam
vinnam
atmanah
atmanah
tata samsara etasya
tatah
ततः
samsara
samsarayasya
etasya
संसारयितस्य
deha deho mritir mritihi.
deha
देहात्
dehamrite.
देहमृतेः मृतिः.
When a living entity thinking himself different from me forgets his spiritual identity of qualitative oneness with me in eternity, knowledge, and bliss, his material conditional life begins. In other words, instead of identifying his interest with mine, he becomes interested in his bodily expansions like his wife, children, and material possessions. In this way, by the influence of his actions, one body comes from another, and after one death, another death takes place. Generally, the Mayavadi philosophers or persons influenced by Mayavadi philosophers think themselves as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the cause of their conditional life. So someone may think I am God, and one may continue thinking in that way without understanding that, oh, I am part and parcel of God. I'm not God. I'm part and parcel of God. So, and then we continue life after life in that kind of consciousness. So, as stated by the Vaishnava poet Jagadanand Pandit in his Prema Vivarta, Krishna Bahirmukha Hana Bhoga Vanchekare, Nikatastha Maya Tare, Japati Adhare. As soon as a living entity forgets his constitutional position and endeavors to become one with the Supreme, his conditional life begins. So, we are conditioned. What happens is we have a desire to become God. Then we forget Him. We forget our relationship with Him. And we want to be in this material world, trying to enjoy this material world. That is our conditional life. Because actually we are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is Satchidananda, we are Satchidananda. Because we are part and parcel. But we are minute. We are tiny. We are not God, but part and parcel of God. The conception that the Supreme Brahman and the living entity are equal, not only in quality, but also in quantity, is the cause of conditional life. So if we think that God and me, same to same, I know, same to same, equal, that is what is conditional life. That is what is the cause of our living in this material world. If one forgets the difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entity, his conditional life begins. Conditional life means giving up one body to accept another and undergoing death to accept death again. So what is conditional life? We are souls, but we are taking up different bodies. We take one body, we live in that, we try to enjoy the world. Then we die. Well, the soul never dies. What we do actually is give up one body and take up another body and enjoying in a different circumstance or suffering in a different circumstance. Then again dying. Then again taking another birth. The Mayavadi philosopher teaches the philosophy that Tattvam Asi, saying you are the same as God. He forgets that Tattvam Asi applies in terms of the marginal position of the living entity, who is like sunshine. There is heat and light in the sun, and there is heat and light in the sunshine, and thus they are qualitatively one. But one should not forget that the sunshine rests on the sun. So, what we have to understand is yes, that we are Satchid Ananda, but we are part and parcel of God. We are Brahman, yes, but we are not the supreme Brahman. We are not the Para Brahman. We are Atma, yes, but we are not Paramatma. There is a difference in quantity. The quality is same, quantity completely different. Just like a drop of water, ocean water has salt. The entire ocean also has salt. So the quality of saltiness is the same, but quantity completely different. So we are minute and we are eternally minute. One may think, oh, well, I'm minute now, but after I get liberated, I'm going to become unlimited. No, the soul is unchangeable, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Unchangeable, unmutable. So we are eternally minute. Eternally, we are part and parcel of God. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the original source of Brahman. Yeah, indeed. Okay. All right. I am the source. I am the original source of Brahman. So Krishna is saying, where is the Brahman coming from? Krishna is saying it's coming from him. He's saying the Brahman is coming from him. The sunshine is important because of the presence of the sun globe. It is not that the sun globe is important because of the all-pervasiveness of the sunshine. So like the sun and sunshine. The sunshine is coming from the sun planet. We have to understand that. Similarly, the Brahman is coming from Krishna. Forgetfulness and misunderstanding of this fact is called Maya. Because of forgetfulness of one's constitutional position and that of the Supreme Lord, one comes into Maya or samsara, conditional life. So we are continuing to remain in this material world because we think there is no relationship between God and me. Whereas the fact is, we are part and parcel of God eternally. I am eternal servant of Krishna. Jayavera Swarupai Krishna Nitya Das. We forget this, and that is what keeps us in the material world. That I am spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna. We forget and we keep thinking, I am this body, I am this gender, I am this community, I belong to this society, this nationality. And that is Maya. Because in fact, we are the spirit souls, not the body. So in this regard, Madhvacharya says, Sarva Binam Paratmanam Vismaran Samsared Iha Abhinam Samsmaran Yati Tamo Nasti Atra Samshaya. When one thinks that the living entity is non-different in all respects from the Supreme Lord, there is no doubt that he is in ignorance, tama. So Prabhupada is mentioned here quoting Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya is saying that when one thinks that I'm equal to God, qualitatively and quantitatively, then that is ignorance. Because the fact of the matter is, we are not God, but we are part and parcel of God. So just as God is Satchidananda, we, the spirit soul, are also Satchidananda, but God is unlimited, We are minute, tiny, and we have a loving relationship with God. At no point in time are we ever going to become God. We cannot become unlimited. The spirit soul is minute, is eternally minute, unchangeable, Krishna says. So we can never change, but we exist eternally. We exist eternally as part and parcel of God, part and parcel of Krishna. Comments? Questions? Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll stop here then.
Mhm.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta
Jai.
Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you so much
Hare
for
Krishna.
listening and